Ne ne duane sefekera senwe. 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 Okay, Uja. So today again we'll have another informal discussion, and actually, what we're looking at here is we're standing in the antechamber to the inner shrine of the Temple of Aset. You can see the wonderful depictions on the walls of the spiritual activities of the royal. That's Asar Maat there. And so you can see the activities. You can see their hieroglyphs on the walls. And then what you're looking at here, you're looking into the inner shrine. And here's the altar where the image of the deity would have been placed. But in ancient times, you couldn't stand here and look in there because there would be a large door here. The door is not there anymore. All the doors have been lost. So we'll use this as our backdrop for our image for a brief discussion, answer to a question that was asked about the Ramses III presentation, Opet presentation that is coming up in September. And someone asked if they should take time off from work and treat it as an immersion, spiritual immersion. And the short answer to the question is yes, but a caveat, if you have the capacity and if you're able to. So if the ideal would be to take those, this is the ideal. Doesn't mean that you have to do it this way, but this would be ideal. And if you can't do the ideal for whatever reason, you do whatever you're able to do, your capacity. So you should ideally you should take off those days. You should not work the on the Friday, Monday, and if you work on the weekends, you should take off that day as well, those days as well. So you should have those days free. The lecture presentations will be later in the day, and you can use the time. You should essentially treat it like a spiritual retreat. So you set up a sacred space in your wherever you live, in your house or your apartment. You set up a sacred space where no one goes except yourself, your own body, your with your mind, and your soul will be there too. And it should be clean. And if you can set up an altar with an image of a deity that resonates with you or your tutelary deity. So you can have a statue or a picture, there's something, an image of your deity, you know. And then you can have some certain ritual implements. So you can have libation vessels to pour libation. You can have incense to burn. You can have candles to light, and fruit offerings to give to the deity, the one that resonates with you, or the one that you like, or the one that has come to you in whatever way it means. And after the lecture presentations, what I'm thinking, I haven't discussed this with Asar Maat yet. What I'm thinking of doing as well is during the daytime is to add a couple meditation sessions, short meditations, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. So we're going to have meditation time as the group. We'll see how it goes in the planning. Whether we do that or not, you can take the day for self-reflection, for reflection on the teaching, how it resonates with you, any insights you've gained from the teaching, how it makes you feel, the energy, or any reflections that come to mind, and any processing that you're going through regarding any issues that you may have, etc. So you can buy a clean, unused journal just for that time. And you can title your journal and put the dates in it as something that you can go back to later when you get older, a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And your journal can be something that you can pass on to someone in your life that you think may benefit from your journaling, your insights into the program. And you should try to make your space silent. So during the programs, etc., you shouldn't have the TV on, or the radio on, and things like that, and only the teaching and reflecting upon the teaching, while it's occurring and right after, and also your journaling can be as dynamic as you want to. Anything that has come to you in sleep or anything like that. But essentially, you spend the day in reflection and also self-care. You may want to take the time for juicing, for taking nutrients, for self-care, self-renewal, taking care of your body, taking care of your mind. You may want to do postures, the yogic postures during the day. Sometime you select. And generally, it should be a time for yourself and for your spiritual process and for your self-examination, of yourself, of your life, of the spiritual goals that you've set for yourself, that you want to get back to, you want to renew, revitalize in your life. Or if you have any trying situations or circumstances, you use it as a time to center yourself and to align yourself with the Neteru, the gods and goddesses that will help pull you through and guide you through any difficulties or adversities that you may be facing. And you can also take it as a time for purification, for purifying your body, purifying your mind, purifying your feelings, emotions, purifying your thoughts, like that. We're going to talk a lot about the Opet Festival in the program. So for those who attend, you'll get insight into how it was for not only spiritual practitioners in ancient times, but for the common people, the people who are not in the temple, the people who are priests and priestesses, and their journey, and what were their role in the festival, and what the festival was all about. And like that, you take it like that as a time for silence, contemplation, meditation, rejuvenating your body and mind in your contact, your association with soul, and reinvigorating your spiritual goals and your aligning yourself with higher power to confront your mundane goals, your mundane challenges, your mundane adversities. You take it like that. So that's the ideal. Ideally, that's how a program like this should be approached. If you can't do that, then you come as close to that ideal as possible. Uh, if you have to drive somewhere, then you can have the lecture playing while you're driving. If you have to work, you can have the lecture playing in your ear while you're doing your work, whatever your work is. Even if your work is caretaking or helping others, you have the teaching near you and as close to you as possible. Not in the background, but as close as possible. But if it has to be in the background, at least you have it in the background. Right? You should be as close as possible, as close as your RU will allow for the time. And so you try to come as close to the ideal as possible. And then afterwards, you should not jump right back into the worldly things. You should probably take an extra day just to reintegrate yourself into, mundane responsibilities and duties that you have to do. So it's a respite, it's a reprieve from the mundane. But in taking a reprieve from the mundane, it strengthens you for the mundane, because you'll be approaching the mundane from a different perspective, a higher perspective. So that's the answer to the question. So try to follow the ideal, and the ideal as close as possible. And if you have to deviate from the ideal, deviate as least as possible. So you do your best. You do your best to come as close to the ideal as possible, whatever that is. And at the same time, if you can't participate according to the ideal, there should be no self-recrimination. Look at me, I can't even take a couple days for myself to do this thing. It shouldn't be that. Whatever your level of participation, that is what is necessary for you at the time of your participation. So, so it's not about beating up on yourself or looking down on yourself. It's actually giving yourself the 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 kudos for even being able to participate in the way that you have done. Because you may be you're probably not hanging out, doing frivolous things or partying, whatever. You're not doing the ideal, but you're not doing the partying. You're doing something. You're in there somewhere, listening, doing some reflection to the best of your capacity. So whatever the best of your capacity is, it's all good, as they say. Strive for the ideal, and if the ideal cannot be attained, then do your the best with what your capacities are, and not look down on yourself if you cannot approach the ideal, or be angry at yourself, or self-recrimination, or anything like that. You should approach this time with peace and acceptance and and coolness in your personality, your relaxation. Okay. Asar Maat, is there anything you wanted to add?
Uja,
Roja,
no, do I? I think it's just very never.
we can't see you.
Oops, sorry. One moment. Want to make a quiet space. I'm outside. Uja.
Roja.
So do I? I just was reflecting to say that I think it's very enough for guidance, and that um doing any sort of sort of just cleansing and preparation prior to that time, is never, if you participate in the um, shit out inter communities, 3-day fasting, or um any other just forms of uh your own healing work that you normally do leading up to the event, that is never preparation as well, and just readying yourself for the event. So do I'm very much looking forward to um, this time and the translations. I think they will be very never.
Okay. Dua Hatat. Okay. So whatever you need to do to prepare yourself, whatever you do to prepare yourself, you should also engage in those, you know, cleansing, healing activities as well. Okay. Are there any other comments or questions?
Uja, just wanted to say thank you for providing this opportunity, for having this. Looking forward to it. Do it.
Sure. Okay, so that would be it for this evening. We'll do a closing prayer. Net duanet sefekera senwe. Net duanet sefekera senwe. Net duanet sefekera senwe. Net duanet sefekera senwe. Om hata pata pata pata. Tap. Do everyone. The tap.
Sure. Tap.
Do I tap?
Do it.